Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Finance Committee special meeting for Tuesday, the 25th of July, the 5th of July, 2023. Yes, sir.
Wednesday.
Did I say Tuesday? It says right here, it is Wednesday. I read Tuesday right off of the piece of paper. Well, that's the first thing.
Well, at least you can read. It is July 5th, though. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, why don't you go ahead and run the meeting, Stan? No, please
No.
do.
No.
All right, no? Okay, very good. Item number one, we've called it to order. Number two, committee and public comments. You know what the camping rule, right, Stan? If somebody's cooking dinner and you're out camping, that if you say the food is terrible, the next thing is you get to cook. So you should always say, that's the worst food I've ever had, but it's so delicious. Thank you. Great job, David. All right, committee.
Great job, David.
Thank you, very good. Committee and public comments. We have no one present with us and none on the line, so we'll move on to item 3. Fraud risk discussion.
And we have nothing to report.
And that's just the best fraud risk discussion report I've ever had.
It's my favorite.
Item 4, water sales and service policy. Anybody want to take that on?
This was requested to be on here by Director Rotora. I believe he sent some preliminary questions and we responded with answers.
Okay,
Which I provided to you last week ahead of the meeting, so.
and I have read and I have printed out. Okay,
So we can discuss those?
do you have anything you want to touch on here, Stan, or did you want to just press?
Yeah, well, actually, I appreciate the fact that, I think we got it back last Thursday, or, we've had it for 3 or 4 or 5 days, which is really appreciated. I have got some responses, and I would be happy to share my responses.
Are these things that you wish to discuss today, or just have people review
Well,
and then
we
come
can
back to you on?
discuss anything.
Well, there's some, yeah, some of these are fairly substantial, and I want to give them a day or two to read them over.
I've got more copies. Just a second. Let me. I can't believe that I left Ty out. No, in fact, I didn't leave Jason out either. And I would be happy to talk or address any of the comments that I have. I read yours, obviously, already. So I guess there's nothing there that I necessarily want to go over today. But I would be happy to respond to any questions that you might have for clarification.
Do you folks want to give it a day or so to read and then respond?
It's kind of hard to have questions when we just skip this.
That's
a minute
why I'm
ago.
asking, just making sure there isn't somebody that wanted to jump on the wagon right now.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't have any questions right now.
Okay, so unless there are objections on the committee, then I'm going to move to item 5, general fund budget. Any objection? Okay, item 5, general fund budget.
So what we have done, we did notice an inconsistency within the budget document presented last month. As you know, in February, we migrated to the Springbrook Cloud, which gave us access to a report writing software. We did use one of those reports in developing the budget and found out that it was spitting out erroneous information on consumption numbers. So we've gone back through and we had to make some modifications and updates to the water cells. And so what you have in front of you is an adjusted budget. It still meets the goals as far as meeting debt service coverage and reserve, at least operation reserve fund target. It did change the bottom line to a net negative 681,000. Keep in mind, this does include the higher payments for the groundwater authority based on the 4189 as opposed to the 4360, is that what it was previous to that? So that would be a $400,000 change to the positive if we're maintaining that 4360 number.
4390,
4390, yeah.
okay. Yeah, obviously, the water, both the water consumption was one of my concerns. The other one was the water pumping, so I'm assuming that you looked at both of those issues?
Yes, and so it's coming in right around 5,100 acre feet that we're basing this budget on, which is a 5% decrease from last year's usage.
Okay, well,
Which was-
last year's usage, according to Don sent out this morning the June data, and I very quickly put that into my spreadsheet, and FY '23 was 5,218. FY '21 was the first year that we saw the impact of the replenishment fee, and I believe the consumption was down around 250 acre feet. And in FY '23, it was down another 400, roughly 400 acre feet. And the number that I came up with is 5,218. Now, you're saying that you used an estimate that was 5% lower than the actuals for '23?
So not through June, we didn't have that number yet. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
numbers of 5,372.
53.
And so I took 95% of that, which came out to around 5,100.
Okay, well, that's close enough. It doesn't totally agree with, but it's a lot closer than being 500 off the way we were originally. So I don't want to debate that at this point. Another, did you by any chance go over, another thing that I had found was the master meter residential RTS, that's ready to serve, I assume. It was up from 298 to 366. And that was a 23% increase. And, we know how many accounts we have. We know how many different types of meters we have. It seems to me that the number of meters isn't going to change a lot. So if we know how many meters we had in June or even May of '23, the meter numbers isn't going to change much.
Yeah, and I used the exact numbers from, I think it was from April. That's the, straight from the system, the number of master metered.
Okay, well, I guess, I don't have the data you have, but if the 2023 year-end estimate was 298,000, to get to 366,000 for FY '24, that's a 23% jump. And we only have an 8% jump for half of the year, basically.
Yeah, I took number of accounts by the monthly rate, based on the meter size. Remember, not
Okay,
all-
well, as long as you went back to the number of meters and the cost, I'm happier with that than I am just using the dollars and a percent
Right.
change. So that number did not change, is that correct? The 366,628
It should not have changed, no.
did not,
It would
okay.
just be the
Well,
consumption.
I'm satisfied that we've made the major corrections that we need. So I appreciate you doing that, Ty.
Okay, anything else on the general fund budget?
We'll have to bring this back to the board for approval, obviously.
Okay,
It's a change, so.
Yeah, and if you wanted to give a recommendation or not, you can.
Yeah, I recommend that we recommend to the board that they approve the modified budget.
okay, I concur.
Yeah, it goes for, that's like a second. Right.
Yeah, yes, except we're not
Okay.
really voting. We could go in dispute, but I don't think we've done that. Financial statements, number 6.
Okay, through June of 2023, preliminary numbers, we have revenues of 16.275 million, which is about $1 million below budget. On the expenditure side, we're at 16.607 million, which is 1.4 million below budget. So our net is a negative 330,000, which is 400,000 better than the budget for last year. There are still some adjustments that'll be made as we go along, but this does include our best estimates for the accrual on the revenue side. And what else? And also taking into account the groundwater authority payments.
I'm sorry, the actuals on this page, you say have accounted for the accrual issues?
Yes, we put in estimates, conservative estimates for the accruals.
Okay,
And those will be finalized. We've got to go through the month of July before we can finalize those, but
Okay.
those are.
Okay,
And then as you can see, we have capital expenditures of 6.7 million and the debt service principal 1.1 million.
yeah, I have no questions.
okay. Proceed.
On to accounts payable.
Yes, please.
All right. So we got the 2 accounts payable runs. I'll go through the big ticket items. On the second page, we have our monthly Aqua JPIA insurance payment of $62,000. Krager and Stewart of $52,000 for work, contract engineering work. CLC Construction, $67,000, and I believe the most part, that is the lowering and raising of valve cans for the city's street paving projects. And then we have Murphy and Everett's for $28,698. Page 3 doesn't have anything. Page 4, we have our monthly payment to the Groundwater Authority for $361,000. And the last page, we have $18,000 to Micrometer Inc., which is the electric valves at the wells. We have McMurtry, Hart-Sockworth, and St. Lawrence for $35,000. And Santa Fe Water Systems for $18,000. That would be supplies for pipes. And then Univar Solutions, $16,101 for chemicals.
Okay. Any questions?
That one I will need a recommendation for.
Any objection to recommending accepting?
No, I would recommend to the board that we accept the accounts payable.
Okay, so be it. Item 8, future agenda items. Anyone? Stan, anything? Future agenda items?
The water sales and service policy is still on the agenda, so we don't need to add that. That's the only thing that's immediate
Okay,
concern to me, so I think I'm good.
all right, very good. Then, without objection, I will go ahead and call the meeting adjourned at 2:44 PM on Wednesday, July 5th. Thank you for your time and